Hey everybody, it's Leanne with week 5 recap. Sitting outside hot, finally feels like fall. So sitting outside every minute that we can today. We have a brisket on the smoker over there. It smells good, it's a good day. So we started with geography, and I'll send you to the YouTube video for Cece Happy Mom because she sings the little song that I'm not even going to attempt. But we had some hand gestures that Cece Happy Mom taught us that kind of went along with the Nile River Delta. So if you want to, you don't have to watch the video if you don't want to do the song. So that Nile River Delta, because of the 3 rivers, I told them it kind of looked like a chicken foot so they could find it on the map, and that helped them. I didn't even know if they'd know what a chicken foot looked like. The Nile River Delta, and then we did the Nile flowing down, and then we had Upper Egypt to the south and Lower Egypt to the north, and then we did Egypt. We made an E for Egypt. And we moved on to math, and we did the 9s and 10s. We used the CC songs, and they had a lot of fun because I told them that we planted their seeds in the ground, and so they laid flat the first time through. I got this idea from Miss C on YouTube. Thank you, Miss C. And then the second time we kind of sat upright and they put their arms in the air. And then the third time they got up on their knees and put their arms in the air. Then they stood up and reached really tall. And then for the 10s, we went backwards and they went down, 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 and we planted them back in the ground again. So that was the multiplication tables for 9s and 10s. We did the Latin, now it's second declensions. So there's a song with CC app that we did. And we went around and did Duck, Duck, Goose while they sang the syllables. And that was nice. Everybody got to have a turn. I kind of had them chase me, so I was always up and running, and then I'd have one person that I could say, come on, and then I was kind of following right behind them to make sure that everything stayed in order. And also to make sure everybody got a turn. And so they kind of they got to go around until we said, singular, second declensions. They'd sit and I'd grab somebody else and would pull them out. So that was Latin. 4th, we went on to science, and we had a lot of fun this time with what are major groups of invertebrates, and so we used different voices, and I let every student pick a different voice. We did, I can't even remember, I think the British voices and stuff were my favorite this week. We did what are major groups of invertebrates, and so they had, I'd say it, sponges, and it was sometimes Australian, stinging cell animals, and then we had the snake. We had segmented worms as snakes, and all kinds of fun voices that we did this time. We did history. Tell me about the Romans, and I got this idea also from Miss C on YouTube, where she had different colored words in the sentence. So the first time through, we just listened to the CC app say the sentence, and then we sang through it with the song once, and then I paused it, and we did I did some in purple, and so we did like Roman Republic, we go clap, clap, and then every time we saw a purple word, they would clap. And then the next time through, we added blue words, and we did a stomp, stomp. So they did clap, clap when they saw purple, stomp, stomp when they did blue, and then the next time through, we did the black letters were a turnaround. And I have to admit, I didn't know if that was going to be successful or not, but they were very engaged, very focused to make sure they were getting their claps and their stomps. And I can't guarantee that they were actually hearing the words, because they were very focused on clapping, stomping. So you'll have to figure that out this week if any of that was retained. And if not, have fun clapping and stomping, and then just sing the song. 6 was English, so I'm choosing to just add on. So we go back and I teach the new hand motion. So we did between, touch between the eyes, between, beyond, and then I'll point beyond with your arm out, beyond, and then but. So but was our hand out, but it's out here. But, by, and then concerning. So I kind of show them the new ones, and then we go through that a few times, and then we go back to about, above, across, after, against, along, amid, and we go through the whole thing, and then we practice the new, between, beyond, but, by, concerning. And then because the song kind of goes beyond, but, by, concerning, so we practiced that part faster, faster, faster. Then we added between, beyond, but, by, concerning, and then we went back into the beginning, because I want them to be able to do the whole song. So I kind of review this one as I'm teaching the new grammar, and they love it. It's fun. That's one of their favorite parts, I think. And then last was timeline. So I know there's always discrepancies in hand gestures. I'll show you what I did. Was Judah, make a J. Judah falls to Babylon. The temple, or the T, on the rock, temple destroyed. Babylon, I'll just make the B. Babylon falls to Persia. Persia. And then the Jews return and rebuild the temple on the rock. And then we go, yay! And then Roman Republic. We do the sign for yellow, the golden age of Greece, make a G. And then we put the G from down over our nose like the Roman soldier's helmet. So Roman Republic, golden age of Greece. And then Peloponnesia, we do the same Greece sign because it was in Greece. Peloponnesian Wars. And then Persia falls to Alexander the Great. And we lived him up. He's great. So we went through and did that. That was everything for our new grammar. Because of the weather, we were, our schedule's a little bit different for science. So we actually went back and did, for science, we did blending. No, we didn't. We did not do blending and ground temperature. We went to next week. We're hoping to do blending and ground temperature next week. This time we did fooling your tongue and trickery. So we did week 6 hands-on science. It was a lot of fun. Fooling their tongue. So they took a bite of the apple and chewed, and then they we talked about, I pulled up Miss Wizzle. If you have CC connected, I cannot remember, I don't have it in front of me right now, it's in my Van Cleaves. I just looked up on CC connected Miss Wizzle, and I like her explanations sometimes to go a little deeper and have more of a conversation. So with Fooling Your Tongue, we talked about their 5 main flavors that we can taste in our mouth, and I asked them to guess how many taste buds we had. 1 billion, I think was their answer, more like 10,000, and we talked about how there was taste buds on our cheeks and on the top of our mouth, and then how many smells that our nose could smell. And I asked them, do you think that your nose, that you can smell, that you can taste with your nose? And they were 100% in agreement that it was a no. So we had a lot of fun when they were eating the apple that second time and they smelled the cotton ball with vanilla. And they were, we're eating vanilla. So we talked about why that was, and if we could trick our mouths into thinking that we were eating something different, could we trick our brains? And I drew the line on the board, 2 lines that were identical, and I kind of blocked the board so they couldn't see, identical lines with these going out and these going in on the lines. And they all agreed unanimously, there was no contest, that this was the longer line. And then once I erased them, they were like, oh, our minds are blown. So we talked about how our eyes can be tricked and deceived, because our brain can look at that and process that information, and it thinks it already knows it without actually looking. Our eyes see it and our brains interpret something, even though that's not really what we're seeing. So that was hands-on science. And then for art, we did perspective, and we drew 3-dimensional shapes to kind of show perspective. That was really cool. We did spheres. There's a YouTube video for that. That's how I do CC pretty much, YouTube. So I did a YouTube video that talked about 3-dimensional shapes, and so we drew a circle and a triangle, and I kind of had them visualize. We talked about, a 2-dimensional shape, and I said, this is a triangle, and I drew a triangle on the board, and I talked about, it's flat, so we held up our triangle, and it's flat, and we can, throw it back down, and there's really nothing to it. And then we talked about popping that into a pyramid, or I think we actually started with a cube. I drew a square, and we held up the square, and we put the square back down with our imaginations. And then we drew a cube, and then popped it into life, and they looked at it and held it up to the light, and they told me what color their cube was, and how many sides it had, and we just played with our imaginary cubes to kind of give them an idea of 3 dimensions. And then when we were drawing different shapes with 3 dimensions, we did a pyramid, a cone, a sphere, which was with shading, a pyramid, can't remember them all right now. We did a cylinder, like a can, so we did the oval with the lines down and the thing on the bottom, the little, I can't think of the line, a curved line. And while we were doing that, Miss Christina saw beads in the room, and so she put a bead on the table, especially when we were doing the sphere and talking about shading. And so they were able to look at the light and how the light hits the bead, and then trying to use your eyes to really see that, and then represent that on paper with the shading and how it's lighter and darker. I did not get into Vanishing Point and Horizon as much as I would have wanted to, some of that grammar. So moms and dads, feel free this week to kind of go a little deeper into that. And I think that covers it. We worked on articulation for presentation, and that was a lot of fun this week, with dictation and enunciating our words properly. And they did a great job. The kids are really, it's such a big difference from last year to this year, how much more confidence they get up there and do their presentations with. So as always, if you need anything, let me know. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.